All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live pre-New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for you all being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we could take advantage of in this Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. So if everybody can hear me loud and clear and you're all ready to go, let's get some early participation going. Drop me a 1 in the chat. Let me know we are good. All right. See it. Good morning, everybody. I see the ones coming in. I appreciate it. All right. So let's jump out of here and let's make sure today that we take massive action, right? Let's make sure that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. Let's make sure that we center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to trading, trusting your education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition. And let's imagine our trades successfully materializing. Let's make sure that we obey our trading strategies, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And let's make sure that we are never looking back or stopping once your trade has commenced. So with that being said, let's jump over, take a look at the Forex Factory and look at the calendar for today, 8:30. We have two red folders. First, 8:30 a.m., we have United States unemployment claims expecting to come in at 221,000 is the forecast. Let's see what happens, right? We know it could be a market mover if it comes in well above or if it misses the expectations and comes in below. So let's see what happens. We've got another member from the FOMC speaking today. We'll see what they have to say. We always know that that has the ability to move the market so far. So it seems like they've pretty much been on the same page, right? Hesitant to cut rates too early. Okay, so totally goes against what investors were thinking coming into 2024, right? We've talked about that a lot. So we'll see what they have to say today. Again, at 12:05, barking and speaking again. And then later on today at 5:30, we have from the Reserve Bank of Australia, Governor Bullock is speaking. Okay, so those we want to pay attention to because they can move the market as well for the Australian dollar. And so that is it for Thursday. Fairly light, with the exception of those two red folders, unemployment claims, and we've got Governor Bullock speaking today from the Reserve Bank of Australia. Going over to trading economics, China consumer prices dropped the most in over 14 years, right? So we've got that inflation creeping down a little bit everywhere globally. So we'll continue to keep an eye on that. The Turkish lira, don't trade it, but it continues to fall, right? I know a lot of traders do trade that, but I know I don't. But it's continuing to. It says here the lira hit a fresh record low, 30.6 per USD in February, as traders continue to assess the country's economic monetary policy outlook. So maybe that's something we'll look at in the future. Taking a look at that pair, maybe add it to our list. We see here Japan, 10-year yield falls after Yoshida remarks. Okay, so what were the remarks? Bank of Japan Deputy Governor Yoshida said the central bank was unlikely to raise interest rates aggressively, even after ending its negative interest rate policy. Still, he acknowledged that the likelihood of achieving the 2% price stability target was gradually rising as the price wage inflation cycle strengthens. So he also warned that the BOJ will communicate its plans and operate in the markets carefully to avoid disruptive moves in the financial market. So Japan's core inflation rate rose 2.3% in December, posting the lowest read since June 22, but exceeding the BOJ's 2% target for the 21st consecutive month. So they are holding steady. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. So talk to me, man, about Japan, right? Seems like they're not budging right now, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds like things are still on pace for them to start making a change in around end of March, beginning of April.
Hmm.
But that change is still going to be gradual, right?
Yeah,
Um, they're going to slow walk it and not have massive changes. Um, and like they said there, they're going to obviously watch the market and to try to ensure, and they always play the narrative game, but to ensure that there aren't any volatile moves or spikes in the market. So we could see them intervene in different ways if that does happen as they start to make that change.
absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll continue. We'll continue. I'm not one to go against these central banks, man.
And they've been very straightforward.
They have
They've
been.
been very straightforward about where they are, and things have gone that way, you know. Um, so I agree with you, bro.
Yeah, I think just when we talk about these central banks, it's like it's better to side with them, and for every now and again when they're wrong, hey, I'm willing to deal with that. But for the most part, they have been right. So,
Yep,
so I'm good.
agreed.
Yeah. So, checking in on the dollar index, it was subdued around 104 on Thursday after sliding for two straight sessions as investors parsed the latest commentary from the Federal Reserve officials to gauge the interest rate outlook. Boston Fed President Susan Collins said the central bank is carefully assessing the evolving data and outlook as policy remains well positioned, adding that it will be appropriate to begin easing policy later in the year. So now markets are currently pricing in a less than 20% chance of a Fed rate cut in March, down significantly from around a two-thirds chance seen at the start of the year. So investors now look ahead at the jobless claims data on Thursday, right, to gauge the health of the labor market. So that's what's coming up at 8:30. Any questions on the fundamentals? Pretty straightforward. No, no. All right. So, moving on, taking a look at the DXY, right? We got a little bit of a pop today. Here it is from the weekly, right? Ever since we had that morning start, right? It climbed the dollar. So bullish to neutral week. Now this week you can see, right, where they were saying down for the last two sessions. That's what that looks like on your chart, right? Down for the last two sessions, right? And now we're seeing some dollar strength this morning. Here we are on the four, previous 80-20 climbing right now. So make sure we reverse that out. That's where we are, right? So down the previous two sessions, well, we hit an extension. Okay. So here we are on the one. Okay, there's that correction, and now we're making that U-turn, right? Making that U-turn off that 382. 1 hour stochastics in the sell zone. So we'll see what happens with that dollar. But look at the how it around that daily level, around that 382, how we ranged a bit, and then we broke out. Right, starting to break out a bit. So we'll continue to see what happens with the dollar. Again, we know the Federal Reserve is holding steadfast, no early rate cuts first part of this year. So any questions on the DXY?
No, sir.
All right, so let's jump into this thing. Let's take a look at the Aussie Swissy. Start off at the top with some of these Aussie pairs, work our way through. See how many we can get through this morning, right? Just kind of been playing those swings, been sitting in the swings that we established, right, doing the weekly rituals for the last couple of weeks. And here we are. So we've got this Aussie Swiss. Now, we pushed bullish, right? So we were moving down, right? You can see how we're making lower lows and lower highs. Then we got that reversal. We broke back above this 56.74. Now we're retesting that level. Okay, we've got a stochastic in the buy zone. So that 56.74 is a key level for us. Okay, because right, we look at it here on the four, we can see how this has been an overall bearish move. And now here's that correction. Now we got a little misalignment here. We got our 4 hour stochastic moving to the south. Okay, so things aren't perfectly aligned yet, but you can see how we got this move up. and now we're retesting that level. The setup was on the 1 hour, okay? Setup was on the 1 hour. It was an 80-20 off the reversal. We came in at TP2, 81 pips. So now I'm focused on this 56.74, okay? We're going to watch the strength of these two currencies, right? We know we have Governor Bullock speaking from the Reserve Bank of Australia today or later on. But, right, 80-20 played out nicely, but this is right in the sweet spot zone, okay? So it has turned over bearish, but what we want to see now is if what we want to see now is if this is going to continue bearish, right? And so if you say, hey, my overall bias is with the trend and it's been bearish, then this is your move, right? So you're either in now off the 61.8, since we came in at TP2 and you're going south, right now you would be in profit, right? So off of this zone here, you would be in profit, okay? Close to 30 pips if you went short, okay? So now the key for me on this is I want to see, all right, if we break that 56.74 level. If we break it, then we're looking for pullbacks and a continuation short, right? And now we're in that push zone to the downside, and then we look to make that C to D push. Everybody follow me on that. Drop me a 1 in the chat. Key level 56.74. Okay. All right. So if you've already gotten short on that, okay, this is the level that you're watching closely. Okay. So if we get a break, we look for pullbacks and a continuation of that 56.74 level. All right. So that's the Aussie Swissy. Want to take a look at this Aussie yen. Okay. So we got the news out of Japan, holding steadfast. So we're thinking overall long against these yens. Right? Big picture. Okay. So this is what we're looking like on the daily. Okay, so that daily swing is still intact. We have a new swing low, right? Actually had it for a little while now. Okay. So that's holding. You know, we can see now that we're moving bullish. We moved bullish yesterday, ever so slightly. This is the 4-hour swing. Okay. So we pushed a little lower in the zone. Look how we pushed. It found a way to come back down and retest that 95.45, right? So that was your initial C low, right? Early in the game, when we were looking at this pair, then we see we pulled back for a deeper correction, right? It's within the AB boundary. When you're swing trading, we don't care how it gets there. We just needed to move towards our target. And we have to be willing to hold through all the madness, right? So here's our 1 hour. Okay, here's our swing, right? We got the cloud on it. We're above the cloud. We consolidate it, right? But then look, we're starting to break out. Okay, this one has been a bit of a choppy mover here on the 30. This is where the setup was. I've adjusted it a bit because we pushed deeper. So that original move was for 101 pips, 36 pip take profit. But now, because we moved deeper in the zone, okay, we've got an 8.6 pullback on this. So we look for a 1.18 extension, which we got pretty close to that. So I don't know, some people may have taken profit if you've already adjusted, but and this is probably going to continue long, but this is a shorter term target here. Okay, so that's well within range to take some profit. Okay, that's within 10 pips. Okay, but we've got 30-minute, we've got a bullish stochastic. So eventually it'll hit that level. Any questions on the Aussie yen? Okay.
No,
Now
sir.
thanks. We blazed through these right quickly. When we say, hey, look, this is moving from the C to D or whatnot. But we say it knowing that it takes time to get your head wrapped around um, the way we swing trade these pairs. It takes a lot of patience, and you ultimately have to develop a huge amount of confidence in yourself and your ability to read the markets both technically and fundamentally. All right. And that's not something that happens overnight. Okay. But it takes a lot. While this trade is moving sideways and doesn't seem like it's doing anything, right? To say, hey, however it gets there, I'm holding my trade plan, it hasn't taken out my stop. I'm going to let it keep rocking and rolling. All right. See if I can get it to move in my direction. Your risk is already figured out before you take the trade. No worries. No worries, right? And if you're not doing that, right, calculating that risk before you take a trade, if you're not using a consistent formula to calculate your risk at all, let's stop doing that, right? It's not a good habit. Okay, not a good habit. All right, that's it on the Aussie yen. Let's take a look at this Aussie dollar, because um, we had one markup that eventually missed. It's almost there on this the one. This one pushed up. This one got so close, right? Uh this one I got stopped profiting on that one. But that got within 10, 11 pips of the target, and then it just reversed out, right? It reversed out. So we're moving bearish right now. So just wanted to review that one. That one got within 10, 11 pips of the TP, then it reversed out on us, right? So hopefully if you were in it, you had the ability to adjust some of your stops, right? So you didn't get caught and let it move all the way down and hit your stop loss. But right now we're moving bearish, right? We've got some early dollar momentum. So we came in at 382, but we came in as structured. Now I'm not in this one to the downside. Some of you may be, but that 65.40 level, it just held it, retested it, it broke it, retested it, and it turned over. So it's a beautiful move. Not quite in my zone though. And so I'm not in that position. And if we just look and continue to move down through the charts, we are definitely moving bearish, right? It's a beautiful pullback there off the 30, trading off the 30. That's a little bit higher in the zone. And then if we move down to the 15, right, see how that played out. Okay. That's an 80-20 swing too that missed, ran into daily resistance there. Right. So those higher time frame levels are pretty strong. We have to respect them. All right. So that's the Aussie dollar. Any questions on that pair?
No, sir.
All right. Appreciate it. Moving on, right? Checking in on our cash Swissy. Right. So we can see here off the weekly, we're getting that bullish momentum, and that's what we're tracking, right? Off the low. Okay. Coming off that low. And you can see here on this daily, you got a new AB boundary and price is just reversing. Okay. So we got daily 63.01. Price has been moving bullish off that level for quite some time now. And this is our 4-hour 80-20, right? So we were making down ABCDs. That's how we came into this low. And now we're moving up. We've got a 339 pip target, and it is making good progress, right? It's making good progress to the downside. It's drawn in. All right, here we are. So it's taking a while, right? Got to get above that 65.02 level. But we can see we reversed out and we're making an ABCD wave. So if we get to that 1.618 extension off of this sub-fib, then we should be able to break above those daily levels. And then from there, we're not too far from our target. So it's taking its time, but we are gradually moving up. So off the low, right? We can't be mad at how long it's taking, right? Because it's gotten us 175 pips off the low. Okay. That's a good setup. Okay, market's gonna move when it wants to, right? All we care about is if it moves in the direction of our trade idea. All right. Any questions on the cash, Swissy?
Patience pays. No, sir.
All right, let's keep it moving. Gotta love swing trading, right? Cat yen. Okay, cat yen. All right. All we do is draw it up and let it play out. Right. So here is our play. That's been running for quite some time. We've got a 932 pip take profit from the longer term daily swing, right? And it's moving. Okay. So 932 pips, right? If you're in at a dime, that's 93 bucks, right? That you're gonna make in the smaller account. But guess what? If you can get the trade discipline down, work on your trade psychology, constantly work your chart so you totally understand price action and technical analysis, you won't be trading small for too long. Just have to continue to work on your patience and believe in yourself, right? Trading tells you a lot about yourself, okay? So, right, 932 pips. If you can get in the habit of saying, hey, if I get used to finding these type of setups and learn how to stay at them, when my account grows to 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, I can trade at a higher lot size. These are monster moves, right? And even at, right, if I'm trading at 10 cents a pip and that comes in at $93, I know some of us out here that have bank accounts, savings accounts that don't pay us $93 on our money that we put in for the year, right? So think about that, okay? So putting it all in perspective, seeing the big picture. So this is climbing, right? Still moving, still holding above our trend line that we drew up a while ago. And now we're coming into that weekly 110.66. We got a monthly level 111.14. But ever since it came back and double bottomed, triple bottomed actually, it's been a wild ride. It is continuing to move long. So fundamentally, that idea of being long against the yen is paying huge dividends, right? It's paying huge dividends. So you can see how this came all the way down, didn't take out our A, right? So we're looking at that B boundary, and then we're looking for a continuation ultimately to that D extension. If you want to check this out on the 30-minute, that's what that move looks like. It's beautiful, right? So we're about to come into a 30-minute D extension. So what that tells us is that eventually we're going to have a new AB boundary. If you missed it, no worries. There's the higher time frame D extension. We've got a little ways to go. So once this hits this D extension on the 30, or if you're tracking it on the 1 hour, right? We're looking at this from the 1. Once these D extensions get hit, a new fib is going to form. So what we should be looking to do is play the corrections, the pullbacks, and the continuations, right, on these yen pairs, okay? You will have your 80-20 opportunities as well. But right now, for example, this here on your 5-minute, okay? That's most likely that's a 50% pullback. That's going to be a C to D move, okay, to the D extension, right? So if I was looking at this, right, I was looking to play this, right? Look at that beautiful U-turn off that 50, okay? And we look at a D extension target, like so, okay? If you want to get involved in a move that's already moving in a particular direction, move down through your time frames, look for a possible entry, but still keep your same principles, keep your same sweet spots, right? So that's going to be a C to D move that works out like that. Then, right, coming off that 50, right, we're looking at 38 pips, okay? Coming off that trend line break, 20-something pips, right? You put your stop below the C if you're coming off that trend line break, right? But we know your traditional play, right? If you're taking it in at the 50% level, 17 and 38, right? So that's what that looks like. So right now on the 5-minute on your CAD yen, you got that trying to move to that D extension. It's still amazing to me, Fibonacci sequence. Any questions on the CAD yen?
No, sir.
All right. So let's see if that move will continue to progress and move along. Okay. Let's keep it moving. Swiss yen. Put this one as a setup in the community. We know ultimately from a weekly perspective, we're trying to chase the extension. Okay. All right. It's trying to get there. Right? You see it's moving sideways. Okay. And I got that. So it must have been my oh, yes, there we go. Sorry about that. I was on the wrong track. So trying to get to our monthly D extension there. Okay. So beautiful swing. I was on a weekly chart. So here's that 1.618, right, that we're chasing. Okay. And so here we are on the daily. So we got a 382 pullback. Right? It's moving sideways a bit, ranging, right? But you can see we've got some bullish momentum. Daily stochastic is in the buy zone. Here's the 4-hour that's been bouncing around for quite some time. Okay. But overall, bullish. Okay. 61.8 pullback. It's trying to move long. Okay. And then here's the markup that we posted last night. And it's been moving long, right? So it's moved long since we posted it. And now we need to look to see if we can catch pullbacks, right? Anytime we get a huge impulsive move like that, we can look for this trade to eventually correct itself. Maybe we come back and we crown at these levels, right? So maybe we can get, right, that crown to eventually pull back and continue, okay? But so far, so good, right? It's a huge move. We expect it to take time. We come down to the 15. You can see where this is just, it already hit an extension and it's extended, right? It's overextended. So we just put our normal fibs on here. We can see that, right? We've hit a D extension. So eventually we're going to look for this to correct and continue once a new fib forms, right? So moving bullish, so far so good on the latest move, right? And we know we've been bullish on this several times, Swiss yen. But this is just a new opportunity for us. So keep an eye on this one. Look for corrections if you didn't jump in it. Look for price to correct, and then look for a continuation after that. Any questions on the Swiss yen? No.
No, sir.
All right. Let's move on. Let's jump into some Euro pairs. Okay. Take a look at this Euro Aussie. Okay. So continuing, right? Continuing to grind higher. Okay. So moving long against the Aussie. Okay. We've had a correction. And now we're looking to see if we can get price to continue. So we retested that 164.79 level. You can see here, right? Nice bearish candle. Bears really tried to test it. It held, right? And we're continuing. So enter to outer trend line break. We want to see if we can continue bullish on the Euro Aussie, okay? That's your daily chart coming in, looking at the 4. Okay. Still moving along within that AB boundary. We got a 786 pullback. We're looking for a 1.27 extension on this latest move. Same thing over and over again, no matter what the pair. That's what we do, right? The inner circle in the Forex trade room. We don't want to make things difficult. Follow the same process. Here we are, right? So we've got another wave, right? It wasn't too long ago, everybody, where this one paid off huge for us, right? Just go. The cool thing about the fibs and the way we use them, you don't have to go too far in the past to see if it actually plays out, right? So not too long ago, we had a beautiful morning star up against daily support, 163.14, key fib level, 61.8. Doesn't get any better than that. Trend line break went bullish, 1.618. Okay. Off that morning star, 199, 200 pips. Okay. Does the price action, and as it relates to what it looks like between the AB boundary, does it look different? Yes. But overall, it's staying within the Fibonacci structure, right? Staying within the Fibonacci structure. Look, A, B, C, okay, D, A. So that's the swing. So if I'm trading and I'm in this swing, it's like, do I have a reason to get out of this right now? No. So don't get out of it, right? Could you take some money off the table? Yes, but to completely be out of the move prior to it hitting its extension, you don't have to do that. All right. Euro Aussie moving along. We'll go down there, take a look, see if we got anything brewing here on the 30. That one's already swinging too. Okay. That one's swinging. 15-minute. We've got I understand this one though. Where it drew it up. It's kind of weird. That's better. There. Okay. So on your 15, right, it may give us an opportunity, right? If we correct, may end up at 80-20, but if we correct, an opportunity to get long. That's that for the Euro Aussie. Okay. Checking out the Euro GBP. Still sitting on the low end, right? But we're starting to get a bit of a recovery here. So let's see, right? If we can get back above, what is that, 85.49? That's a weekly level. Okay. That's a weekly level here, past support, future resistance. See if we can get back above that. But we haven't hit the stop. Right? So that's still in play. If you haven't gotten involved in it, then you definitely want to see if we can get back above that weekly level, right? Then you can take that position. But if you're holding it, keep holding it, right? Keep holding it. No need to get out of it. Your risk is already calculated before you take the trade. You know what you're going to lose if you hit that 46 pip stop. Let it do what it's going to do. Any questions on the Euro GBP? No?
No, sir.
All right. Let's take a look at the Euro Yen. Looking pretty good to the upside. Okay. So yen cross. Okay. been pretty bullish off of holding support. Okay, still moving long. Still moving long. Stochastics in the buy zone too on the daily. Here we are. So this was the question that we had. How this was going to play out. It gave us our answer, right? We had certain levels marked out to see if it was going to hold or continue long. And it's continuing long, right? So we're looking like we've got, right, ABCD wave playing out here. Back to the upside. So that longer term 4-hour 80-20, not so much right now, but we were able to spot it on the 30, right? And that's where we were having that back and forth as to which way it was going to go, and we were keying at that level, and it broke it. So this is a huge move, right? That's the sub fib running off of it. There's your overall move there. Beautiful pullback. It held, right? What caught our eye was that 158.54 level, and it held that level. Okay, again, and it's moving, right? So came back. You can see back here in the past where it acted as resistance and support, and it came back to act as support again, and it held at that fib level, and now we're moving long, right? So we're looking at completing an ABCD wave. So if this is going to continue to move long, we will have other opportunities, right? So we don't ever have to get upset at ourselves. Oh, I missed the move. If we understand that the market moves in waves, it's going to give us another opportunity. Okay. So right now, this is moving long. Okay. Okay. It's moving long through the zone. Any questions on a Euro JPY?
No, sir.
So here's that swing. We clear this out. So no opportunity even on the 5 yet. That's cool. Eventually, it will be. Okay. So we'll continue to watch the price action on that. Look at that pullback. It's beautiful, right there at the edge of the buy zone. It's nice. All right, so that's the Euro JPY, Euro NZD. Let's take a look at that. Right, this has been choppy, right? But we got a 382 pullback. This 175.99 level, right, is holding right now. Okay, we've got some bullish activity. Daily stochastic is in the buy zone, coming down to the 4. Okay. We can see, right, our swing. You can see this is a key level where price is holding. See right here, we come back to this level. Okay. Holding, holding. Okay. So we're moving long. So right now, I have my fibs deployed to the upside. And here's a downtrend line. You see if we break that, get to the D extension, because then, right, we get there, it's going to reset itself. But then at that point, I'll be looking for pullback opportunities. At least that's my idea for right now. Continuation to that outer trend line, back up to that 177.40 resistance level. Okay, so we're just playing the wave. So that's my bias right now in this pair. Okay, and so we want to let that play out. Okay, here we are on the 15. All right, there's that level, right? Zoomed in, looking at that level. So you can see how price consolidated around that level. Okay, it's trying to break out of it. Okay, trying to break out. Here we are on the 5. We're on the 5. It's going to be interesting to see if it gets back below that B boundary and pushes deeper, even though we got that 382 already. Want to see how that plays out. All right. So that is the Euro NZD. Any questions? Joy, you said active. Which one are you active on, Joy?
EJ.
EJ? Okay,
Yeah.
good, good. Continue to hold that long. Good work. Good work. Love it. Euro USD. All right. So we had a longer term potential play, but we never broke trend line on this 1 hour. So this evening star, right, went out, came right back down to support. Now we may hold at 107 and then U-turn, but right now that 1 hour, what already? That 1 hour, there we go. So you had a 1 hour 80-20, right? But we were looking for it to potentially U-turn. We were looking for a trend line break, but we didn't get it, right? Could have been a big move to the upside, but we didn't get it. It continued bearish. So from that counter trend perspective, you got a 382, 61.8, then it took out your 8 boundary, right? So this is still positioned to the downside. So we never got priced to push up to get long. We never got back above that 108. You see it? That level we were looking at. And it tried to break trend line, but it didn't. And it just continued down. So we never got good confirmation for the long play on that. Okay, you can see where I have my original target, but we never got that break. So we pushed down, we went lower. So we run our fibs in the opposite direction now. Okay. Run our fibs in the opposite direction from the 1 hour. Okay. And there's that 107 level. So I can take this out now, clean this up a bit. Take this out. Okay. We'll continue to eye that 107.24 level, which is our B boundary, to see if we get a break below that. If we do, we're just going to continue bearish on that. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at it from the 4. We're still holding, within. Could draw this over top now. Here. Okay. All right. So I didn't even pick up on this one. This came all the way back. This is the double bottom, right?
I missed that too.
Yep, on the 4. Let's see if that holds. Right. We know we got we had some corrective action on the dollar. Right. Last couple of days, which is why you saw this move up. Right. When you think DXY, think Euro USD. Okay. So because about, I think they say like 57%, right, of the DXY is heavily weighted with the euro, right? So it's like just the exact opposite, okay, when you look at the Euro USD. So this is going to be interesting here. 4-hour stochastic is bearish though, right? Way overbought. So this is key level, 107.24. This is going to correct down. Wonder if it'll form a high and hold. But yeah, interesting. All right, beautiful morning star here that led to some positive momentum to the upside. Now that dollar is correcting. So let's see. I'm interested to see if it breaks below that level. Nothing doing on it yet though. So that's the Euro USD. Want to check in on this pound Swissy play that we've been following. So daily, right? Got some bullish momentum. Stochastics in the buy zone. We got the swing to the upside. Now we've got a correction. Okay, we've got a correction there. And if we come here and we take a look at it on the 4, this was our play. Okay. So far, so good. And we're making waves in our direction. Okay, so far off the level, look at the breakout. We are up right now. It's 80 pips. So at its high point, we were over 100. So of course, right after a nice move, we got some corrective action going on. From the 4 hour, we're looking at a 262 pip move. Okay, so now it's just a matter of what makes sense. Okay, here we are on the 1. Okay, so we're looking at this leg here. Okay, trying to see if we can get in on this opportunity if you haven't been in on it. And really there, right? That swing, just looking at the capital fibs on this 30. Has to go down time frames. Okay, so that's where we are there. That was making a correction out of an 80-20. Didn't quite get that 382. So focus on this overall swing though. Let's move on down. See what we have on the 15 for our next opportunity. Okay. There. Clear this out. So here we are on the 15. So this could be a possible opportunity. See if we can push a little bit deeper. So when you get on these lower time frames, right? Lower time frames are controlled by the higher time frames. So we're gonna look for some additional confirmation because we don't know, right? We're right at the edge of our buy zone, not at a 61.8, 786 yet, but you never know, right? How deep that correction wants to go on a higher time frame. So we want to look for some additional confirmation. We could put a cloud on it. Okay, trend line, we can use a cloud. See how we've gone below. Anytime you get a deep correction, 50%, 61.8, 786, you're going to break back below the cloud. So don't let that bother you, right? People say, well, below the cloud is bearish. Yeah, it's correcting. Should be. We've got an up AB boundary and it's correcting. That means it's moving down. That is bearish, right? But when you look at it in terms of a Fibonacci structure, that correction is regarded as our temporary move, and our long-term move is going to be that C to D push, right? So if you're sitting on this, say, for example, I like trading on my 15-minute chart, okay? And you're thinking bullish on this pound Swissy. Well, if you're using the cloud, okay, still utilize the same concept. You're either going to put your stop below the A or below the C low or below the cloud, right? So what we're waiting on is we want to see if we're using this as a confirmation. Now, okay, pay close attention because people ask about this all the time in regards to how to use it with how we trade the fibs. Well, we need to move down, and then typically, right, depending on your entry style, you would limit in at your 61.8 and your 786 if you set buy limits, or you would let it get to your 61.8, 786 zone, 50% with structure, whatever your trade plan calls for. And you may look for a trend line break, bullish candlestick formation in the zone, stochastic RSI in the right zone, and then you would look to get long. Well, here, you're just adding additional confirmation. I want to see price break back above the cloud. Okay. I want to see that TK crossover, right? Your Tinkerson and your Keen-to-see. Tinkerson, Egenson, right? Your averages. You want to see a crossover and you want to see a cloud break, right? Some people wait for pullbacks once they get the cloud break. It's all similar concepts, right? It's no different than if we were just waiting on a trend line break and a pullback. Okay, you're just adding a cloud, some additional confirmation. Everybody follow me on that? Drop me a 2 in the chat. Nothing difficult, nothing overly complex to what we do. Okay. So you say, hey, I've got it to come down to a key fib level. Now I'm looking for a reaction. Once I get that reaction, I'm looking for a cloud break, just like what we've been looking for, a trend line break. Okay, you're just using a different confirmation tool. So that's that. Any questions on this pound Swiss? All right, let's take a look at the pound yen. Long against the yen, right? That's the daily. Come down to the 4. And we've gotten back up above the cloud. Fifth one. There we go. So we've gotten back up. We got a 382. And now it's moving back along. Okay. So there we are. Okay, moving back into those key resistance levels. Coming down to the 1. Okay. Long. See? Long. See how we got to see how we got, look at that. See how we got the crossover? Okay. See how we broke above that cloud? Okay. Now we got price pulling back, right? Got a bullish cloud up ahead. But here's the move, right, that we've been tracking. Okay. It's 347 pip target on a 30-minute chart, everybody. Where else are you gonna find that? Where else are you gonna find that? It's got everything you want. Your direction, your risk, and your risk to reward ratio. I don't know what else there is to it. I'm risking $11 to make 34. From a dime. We're not even talking about a mini lot. Think about that. Any questions on the pound yen?
No, sir.
Take a look at the S&P. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How resilient the market has been. Did it make an ABCD wave? Yes or yes? Of course. The extension hit, new AB boundary formed. Sitting pretty high, right? We may not get that correction. The way this market's running. May not get it. This was a potential, right? We got the correction, but this really was when you look at it just from a price action standpoint, just pure price action, that was a range. That was a range and a breakout. So for breakout traders, that's a monster move, right? We marked it up. It broke initially, so we got the initial move, right? We just didn't get all the way back to the 382 on that one. But you still could have made your money. That's a huge move to the downside, but that's really within the range. And then it broke out, just broke out the other way. So that just tells you, right? Buyers have control of this market. Big time. Big time. That was the initial breakdown. The extension here. New AB boundary. We got a 382 on this one. Okay. So here's the thing, right? If you're trading with the trend on these, okay, 61A, your buy zone. If you play the buy zone, right, that's not in your zone, right? Unless you have it drawn up in your trade plan. And, hey, I take 382s with structure or some other type of evidence, right? But for me, right, it's just been running long. And if you're sitting in it from a while ago, then you haven't quite gotten the pullbacks that you want to add to your position. You know, if you're using those sweet spots that we use. But overall long, right? So we know if we come over, we take a look at the NASDAQ. Right? Pushing long, similar. Pushing highs, everybody. It's good for the economy. Right? Right, this one's hanging around, right? So we've drawn it up. We can see it sitting right in our zone. Okay. But for these, if I'm looking to trade these right now with the way this market is going, I need a complete breakdown, right? I need for this to show me something. Right? I need some breaks and some pullbacks. I need some lows taken out, lower low, lower high. Because the momentum has been so strong. Okay. And we're talking about indices. So let's take a look at the Dow and we'll wrap things up. The daily, look at that. This is just accelerating, right? We're moving up into our 80-20 zone, right? This is moving up and this is moving down. Right? So we may see that momentum start to slow. Keep an eye on that, the US 30. Okay. So if you're buying dips and you're rolling with the trend, I want this to come right down here. 37,833 and lower. And look for evidence to get long. Questions on anything that we covered this morning? Nope. Ryan, anything before we wrap things up, sir?
No, sir. Great session, man. Continue to be patient, good people. Continue to wait on your rules to be met. That's it, bro.
All right. Hey, thank you all for being here. We will see you all tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. Bye for now.